All right. Ready?
Yep.
Hey, my name is Launders, and you're listening to TCR.
Okay, so let's start.
Hello. Hello and welcome. Welcome back to another edition of The Center Ring, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast. Said that kind of weird. Starting off strong. Episode 199 coming to you live, pre-recorded from an undisclosed location. The date, December 15th, 2019. The time, 9:03 p.m. Central Time. Happy Monday, everyone. 1 week closer to Christmas. Get some time off of work. Get you some free time. You earned it. And this is the best episode ever, so you're in luck. Because, ladies and gents, it is Championship Sunday. Yes, doesn't happen very often, but once in a while, the moons align in esports. And we get Championship Sunday. A Sunday where multiple games have big championships. Got Rocket League Season 8 finals. We had the Blast Pro World Finals, Capcom Cup, the North American finals for Rainbow Six. So much to get to, so little time. And we also got e-news to end the show with. You know we always do that. Before we get to any of it, though, you must do your service and follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. Go on iTunes or any other application that you listen to, Castbox, anything that lets you leave a review. A 5-star review is appreciated, and also, you know, little thought of how you think of the show always helps too. We actually do read them. Let's say hi to the crew. Hello. My name is Tim. I'll be your captain for this journey into esports, but alongside me, as always, is my first mate. My best friend. My brown friend. It's Anuj. What's up?
What's up, bud? 5 days until I have 14 days straight off.
That's nice.
I can't wait.
Nice. Imagine all the guests you can book. Just hound them
go.
all day,
every
day.
I'll be calling people on Christmas morning.
I want guests lined up every single day.
I'm gonna start going door to door soon.
How hard can it be? We live in, like, it seems like half of esports live in DFW anyways. Like, how difficult can it be to get guests on? Pretty damn difficult, let me tell you. We've been talking to a few of them, and it's like just schedule work. It's like apparently 15-minute interviews is a huge time commitment for some people. So let's not get hung up on that, though. Some show news to get to real quick. Thank you, everyone who came by Casting Couch the other day. It was our first inaugural Casting Couch, TCR's Casting Couch. We pretty much commentated over Blast Pro finals on Saturday morning. I would call it a success.
It was a quick success.
We had quite a bit of listeners join in on the fun, so it was nice getting to talk some RTS. I mean, we kind of veered off topic from the match, but it wasn't really an entertaining match if you watched it.
Yeah, that was the quick part. I mean, it lasted, felt like maybe 2 hours.
2 hours or so, 2.5.
Yeah.
It really wasn't that long for Counter-Strike. But no, I thought it was a lot of fun. It definitely won't be the last one we do. It was pretty easy to set up, so little effort on our end.
Yeah, and we got I think this was a good little test run, right, for this particular event. Now I think we kind of want to do it for all like the big ones that are coming out, whether it's
we have
day type events,
CDL coming up, so we'll definitely want to do it for an opening night for there. Maybe do a couple matches because those won't last as long. Maybe just
Yeah.
the full opening night or something.
Yeah.
Opening night for Overwatch League, the Fuel play. Actually, no, that will be here, so we'll be at those matches. But we'll do it for
We could do
Overwatch
one of
League.
them.
So
Yeah.
it'll be good. It'll be a lot of fun though. So if you missed it, you can go on YouTube, check the VOD out if you really want to. But also make sure to follow on Twitter at the Center Ring, and then you can catch it when we go live for the next TCR casting couch. But it was a lot of fun. I did enjoy it. We got Tavik in chat. What's up, bro? Trey in Twitch chat asking when he can be a guest. Never, Trey. Never. That's when you can be a guest. Other than that, let's get away from esports here real quick, Anuj, if you would indulge me.
Let's do it.
Because as we're approaching towards Christmas, it is our duty to tell the listener we are in peak church hot season.
Oh man, you got the Uggs coming out. We're starting to see, the scarves. I mean, I think like the it's something about a scarf. A good looking scarf can really
sweater,
get you.
a little
Yeah, the
cardigan.
sweaters. Yep, the cardigans. It's cardigan weather for sure around here right now. It's it is prime season. The little latte, the little pumpkin spice
I would say
latte to
it
go along
starts
with it.
for Texas around Thanksgiving, right? Because for whatever reason, women will dress like it's 20 degrees, even though it's still like 70. But as soon as Starbucks starts serving pumpkin spice, it's fall
on.
to them, regardless of the weather. So for those who don't know, church hot is when women, and I'll say men, typically look hotter at church. My wife went to church this morning. I watched the kiddo. She looked pretty good walking out that door. I'm like, geez, who are you going to go meet? She was like, the big man. I was like, I hear that. I hear that.
All of a sudden, you and the kid show up at church 20 minutes later.
It's something about church. It's just women get so dolled up for it. And it's like classy though, right? It's not like you're going to a club. You're like, I could take you home to meet mom right from here. Let's make it happen. So
Let's do it today.
Peak church hot season. If you're a church goer, keep those eyes peeled because you're in luck. It is church hot season for sure. It's also the end of the year, meaning we're in championship season. A lot of games are wrapping up their year-long or sometimes just season-long seasons, right? However they want to do this. So we had some big ones wrap up today. In Rainbow Six, you had the United States Nationals for 2019 wrap up. Shout out to Kai, our listener, who's the only person I honestly know is an actual Space Station Gaming fan. Like, not a fake fan, but like...
No, legit. Very much like, that's his team.
Very weird, but he's from Utah and they're from Utah.
He's from Utah. So, like, it's funny that that's how he connected his fandom to
You don't really hear that. You don't see that very often.
No, because usually it's like you just don't worry about where the org is from. You latch on to players, right? But he just wanted an org that he could latch on to, and hopefully they were in several esports that are local to him. Space Station Gaming was it. We actually met him it was at BlizzCon, and so for him, huge moment here. Hey, and shout out to Alt. They're partners with Space Station Gaming, and so exciting. I'm sure we'll see some new merch dropping. I think they actually just dropped some new Space Station Gaming merch, if I'm not mistaken. But
a couple weeks ago, but I'm sure maybe something for the victory.
Yeah.
They'll do something. So I remember what's funny about this, and I guess it tells you how long Space Station Gaming has come. Because I remember it had to have been 2 or 3. You didn't go last year to DreamHack, so 2 years ago. And I wonder when did 03. So they started March of 18. So that's March of last year. This is exactly yep. So this lines up exactly from what my story is about to tell you. Is I remember being at DreamHack Austin. All right, and we're in the BYOC area. BYOC does a lot of BYOC tournaments. Rainbow Six was one of them. We always competed in Counter-Strike. But for Rainbow, they had a BYOC tournament that would then filter into the actual pro tournament going on there.
I remember you told me about this.
And Space Station, they were sitting like down the row from us. Remember that team that
Yeah,
had like
yeah,
all
yeah.
like they were legit, right? Like, but they were in the BYOC area. They had to go through the BYOC tournament,
Process to make the tournament.
right? And I remember seeing their jerseys, and I'm thinking, look, are these tryhards with a coach, right? Because at the time, I've literally never heard of Space Station Gaming. The Rainbow Six team started months before DreamHack Austin was, right? But they were legit, and I think I remember them either qualifying that time or like being like one match away. Like they went really far though into the BYOC tournament.
Because they were playing. I remember them playing late into the weekend. Because
Yeah,
we were sitting there and you could see
that is
them all.
what they were doing. Like
They
they
would
were there
constantly come
for
back
the
there and have their little
BYOC
coaching
tournament.
sessions and all that. They were doing it all right there.
Right here, they were
table.
9th and 12th in DreamHack Austin. I'm looking at it right now. So
That's pretty awesome
yeah,
coming out of the BYOB though.
literally just right out of
I mean BYOB, the BYOC.
the BYOC. It's also
Yeah.
BYOB if you can get away with it, which ain't that hard to do with DreamHack security, folks. Anyways, yeah. So I think it's just crazy to see how long they came within 2 years. Went from having to go through a BYOC tournament at DreamHack Austin to now you are America's team for Rainbow Six Siege.
It's incredible. Watching Siege, I have such an appreciation for it. It's such a difficult game, man. Like it
Yeah.
is. There is a very, very steep learning curve. Like even compared to a game like Counter Strike, where I think Counter Strike, raw aim can kind of get you by a little bit in Counter Strike. You look at
It can get
one of
you.
our well, one
I-
of our listeners, like Tavik, just recently switched over to PC and is, an FPS player and whatnot. But on CS, like as somebody that's new, I wouldn't say he did bad, for somebody that's just been playing for a short period of time. But on the flip side, a game like Siege, man, you could be good at aiming, but if you don't know the operators, the maps,
map
like
and-
the way to creep around corners, the ability to use your cameras, I mean, it's really a very, very challenging game.
And I will say that's almost to a fault of it as well, right? Like it's kind of its charming factor, but like for me, I always considered myself a Rainbow player, and I never got into Siege. I hated the fact that they added operators.
Yeah.
I love the fact that like the map is so malleable. You can like blow down walls and shoot from the ceiling, and like every game could be different, right? On how
Yeah.
you approach a map. I love that. My issue was always like I didn't think operators had any place in Siege. That's neither
I
here.
like watching it. I'm not a fan of playing the game, but
But
part
this
of it
is why,
that
right?
because of
And
that
this is the
learning
fault
curve.
of Siege.
Yeah.
And this isn't supposed to be like me bashing Siege segment, but we've already talked about Space Station Gaming. I've capped out my knowledge of Space Station Gaming. Siege is not a casual game. You
No,
either
not at all.
are all in or you play maybe once a year on free weekend because every other bad person is playing, which is literally what I do. I own it,
Yeah,
but I'm like, oh, the free weekend's up? Well, I guess I'll install it again.
Well, especially if you were one of those that were like a day one buyer and then maybe you quit early on and you try to come back now, like the amount of new operators that are there.
Yeah, that was me. I got it free
they-
when I bought a HyperX headset, and so I was in the beta and everything there, but yeah, I don't know. It's not a casual game, right? And you just can't pick it up and play and be successful like other games, right? Like we don't play Counter-Strike religiously anymore, but we can still hold our own in it, right? We can still like me and you both respectively dropped like 25 kills our last match that we played, so
you can go in and do okay. Yeah,
Right.
for sure. Yeah, no, again, that's the appreciation I have for it though. Is again, it's just a insanely difficult game. And those that have mastered it, it's a crazy thing to watch at that level.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't deny the fact, like Tavik in chat is saying, like, once you know it, it's fun as hell. I 100% agree because there was a time where I did play it a lot and I was really enjoying it. But now, because I stepped away from it, I'm like 6 operators behind and like 4 maps that I got to know. And I'm a casual in the purest sense when it comes to that game. Like, just let me click heads. Like, don't try to tell me what to do. I'm gonna pick the most basic operator, I'm gonna pick Ash because she's a basic bitch. Let's be real. And then I'm gonna go and shoot heads. That's it. Don't make me pick Capitan or Valkyrie. Can't do it. That's too much pressure on me. I'm gonna pick the basic Buck, right? His special ability is a shotgun. Pfft, I got that. I can figure that out.
I know how to use that. Yeah.
Yes, I could figure that out. But there is a line that I cannot cross in that game. But either way, again, congratulations to Space Station Gaming beating Team Reciprocity 3-0 in the North American Finals for Rainbow Six Siege. So shout out to all of our Utah listeners. That one is for you. We had the Rocket League Season 8 Finals as well, just wrapping up earlier today in Madrid. First off, pretty awesome crowd. It's always weird when I think of, like, I would not think of Madrid being like a primary source for a Rocket League hype, but
yeah,
I'm trying to think of where the Rocket League championships have been. I think they've been in London like once or twice.
Was it Paris?
Let's see. Last year was in Jersey, I know, because they played it at where the Devils play. The year before that was Vegas, London, Washington, D.C. I'm going back here. L.A.
Man, a lot of the NA.
And Amsterdam. And Los Angeles again. So yeah, like, so to venture out to Madrid, I thought was pretty impressive that Rocket League can even have that type of pull, right? Even though I get it, it's a very popular game. Don't get me wrong,
Man,
but
NRG making a run at Org of the Year.
Yeah, man. Proving that they can carry it over, it's kind of insane, right? And I guess now that they don't have their Counter-Strike team, this is kind of their...
Let's just say throughout the year, they had a top 10 Counter-Strike team. They have a world champion
Rocket League team as they beat Vitality.
Have a world champion Overwatch team.
Yep. Getting into CDL.
Getting into CDL, which is just like a win in itself, right? Although
you are the bottom tier branding. Bottom tier branding.
You got Hex. That's also a big win for an organization.
Debatable.
It's a good year though. Solid year for them.
Yeah, and they beat Vitality 4-3 dude, this is nuts. In a game 7, in overtime, game 7, they beat Vitality 21 seconds in. It was nutty. Talking about Space Station, NRG defeated them 4-1 in the semifinals. So again, though, that's a good outing for Space Station.
Great.
Pittsburgh Knights, they made the round of 6, which I believe this was their first time getting into, because they just recently joined Rocket League, so I think this had to have been their first time. So friend of the show, Pittsburgh Knights, James O'Connor, even though I asked him if he wanted to come on the show, and then he told me to get with his PR guy, and I was like, James, I don't get with your PR guy to get on the show. Like, we know each other. Like,
when can you come?
Like, bro, I am texting you right now. Like, I have your number. I skip the middleman. I don't go to the PR guy. I go to you. So I'm sure we'll get around to it. But I have not reached out to the PR guy yet. Maybe I should. But the one thing to take away here is Turbo Pulsa for NRG. 4-time champion.
That's incredible. I mean,
with 4 different orgs. He did it with Dignitas last year, Gale Force 1 year, Northern 1 year, and now these guys.
Why so many teams?
He just moves around. He's like one of the few two that jumped over, right? Like, he was European, jumped over to NRG to play on NA side, and I mean, obviously with success carried over.
That's pretty highly unusual, I feel, for like an athlete at that caliber.
Yeah.
To be switching from year to year. Like, an org would you would think, want to pay top dollar to have somebody like that. Obviously, it's a proven method. Whoever wins the free agency market's going to have a pretty good chance at getting a championship underneath them.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was an entertaining one. Justin had some nutty plays. Like ESPN even tweeted out that it could be play of the year. Which I guess being that it's December 15th, I guess a pretty good place to be if that matters for you on ESPN. But no, NRG again, Game 7. It was a nutty way to finish the Rocket League season. So Season 9, I think, starts up. Do they have the dates yet? No, they don't have the dates here. Sometime next year. Now, the one crazy thing, though, for me, and I'm not going to lie, with Season 8, with these championships, I kind of forgot they were on until yesterday, just because we were so busy doing Casting Couch and everything. But also, you have arguably what, to me, were the top two teams in the game not make it. You had G2 and Cloud9, and I even asked some of our listeners. I asked former host of the show, Brett, may he rest in peace, what's going on there. And they pretty much said the same thing. It's just the fact that they play a slower style, and the new style of Rocket League is much more physical with blowing people up and attacking the mid area of the field, that they just haven't adopted to it. And I also think anyone who watches Cloud9 can tell, like, ever since they won 2 seasons ago, it just seems to me like they don't care. I know Brett, he said that there's like some inner team conflict. I don't really even see that. I just see that they don't care. Like, it just seems like they're so chill. They almost got relegated for next season, for crying out loud. So how do you go from being champion to almost being relegated? I don't think it's from team conflict. I think that's just lack of effort.
It's weird to me that you think of a meta change in a game like that. It didn't occur to me that they make big enough changes to where it can actively affect how you want to do your lineup, or it
Right.
just seems so straightforward, right, and simple in theory.
Well,
but
and that's kind of the beauty with Rocket League, right? It's not like they're not rebalancing the game. They're not making one car more effective than the other. It's literally just people needed to find ways to beat G2 and Cloud9, who were like best of Rocket League at the time. And so they said, okay, what do they do? All right, how can we kind of knock that off their game? Just be aggressive. They play slow. They play very tactical. Well, what if we just fluster them and get in their face, right? Much like with regular sports, like with football, right? You have like the different style of defenses and offenses and
spread offenses and things like that.
Yeah, so it's kind of nuts. Yeah, it's not like NFL. I mean, sometimes they change the rules.
Sorry, I thought when you said that earlier, I thought you were talking about that they made changes to make you do more damage if you impact
No, it's like there's just the strategy of the game.
Yeah. I got
right?
you. I got
but you're right. Yeah. I mean, it's for the sake of our conversation, they kind of adjusted how the meta is played, right?
Yeah.
So interesting there. Another big championship for Championship Sunday. Capcom Cup, one of the best of the year. Sadly, this year it was tarnished with streaming issues. They didn't stream some of like the more important matches for whatever reason. Production was all over the place, and reports of laggy systems, like laggy input.
How?
Which with a fighting game, like, don't get me wrong, Street Fighter V is very forgiving with combos, but not that forgiving.
Yeah.
Like, they'll let you miss a button
what
here
would
and
cause
there.
that? They're saying, like, I mean, what would cause a hardware issue like that?
I don't know. I thought these were console plebs. I thought that was the whole point of being a console pleb, was the fact that
I'm trying to figure
you didn't have to worry about hardware.
It was like plug and play.
Maybe they're using my day one PS4 that sounds like a jet engine. I don't know.
They ran to GameStop refurbished right before they started the event.
The only thing I can think of is because with these, they're not using, I believe, they're not using one system, right? So, because the way it was, and like Punk even tweeted it out, spoiler alert, Item beat Punk in the finals after resetting the bracket and everything like that. Crazy finals. You should go check it out. But the main story, again, is this issue with the lag and the setup. Like, Punk was playing on player 2, and he was saying, like, that's where the lag was, on player 2, not player 1. So I don't know, maybe they're using different systems and then using, like, a system link, and maybe player 1 was technically the host, so maybe he wasn't having as much input lag. I don't know. I don't know that. All I know, I just saw people bitching about it on Twitter, is that this setup is garbage, and some of the players are saying that they're having input lag.
That's unfortunate. You hate to see something like that in such a big event. I mean, this is a championship event,
Yeah.
and you have players having issues with hardware, whatever software, whatever
And
is
again,
causing the issue here, and it's
on a fighting game that used to be top dog in the FGC and has kind of dropped off in people's opinions for being too casual or friendly. That being said, FGC folks, let's not bash this too hard, because in reality, this should be your wet dream of an event. All right. Not only did you have an upset by Punk being defeated in the finals after a bracket reset, which everyone loves, right? IDOM is not sponsored, so you had a non-sponsored player win. He is a pad user, so not a fighting stick, not a controller, but
He's
a
a pad
fighting
user?
pad. So that's pretty rare, but a lot of people are trying to push that, right? Razer just came out with a new fighting pad, and then you had Punk on the opposite side, who's a controller user, and they're both American.
Now, was this one of the events that wasn't available for people to watch on stream?
No, this
Like
was
the
the grand finals.
Yeah, no, so that was obviously up and running.
Right?
'Cause that would
They
be
want
a
that.
little
But that's what I'm
unfortunate.
saying. Like, this is the wet dream for FGC, right? As far as trying to make it look.
Well, you're appealing to everyone,
Exactly.
except for international fans, I guess.
But
if
what's
it's
the
too
one
NA.
complaint about fighting games? Barrier to entry, right? How the hell am I supposed to start? All these pros I see here are already from Japan or Korea, and they kind of dominate the scene anyways. You know, it's not big here in America. No one cares about fighting games. Oh, and now I got to get a fighting stick. Well, those are like $100 and they're bulky as hell. I mean, I have one. It sits over here that I'll use from time to time, but overall, I like using a controller just for travel's sake, right? It's easier to play.
More
But now,
comfortable to use too. I feel like a controller just
just depends on what you're used to. I mean, honestly, it does. I mean, look, we just had the champion use a pad, right? Which is even more rare than a controller. So I think the myth has been busted as far as you have to use a fighting pad, right?
yeah.
For the longest time, people thought, oh, well, he uses a fighting pad, he must be better. And it's just typically those people are either they're either old school, or like the reason a lot of Japanese players use them is because they grew up in arcades, right? Like that's where they're like Tekken for the longest time. Tekken 7, the latest one, was out in Japan way before here, but only on arcade, not console. So the only way you could play it was with a fighting stick, right? So that's why a lot of times you see those older or those foreign players use them. And again, some people just like them because you can plug it into any system and it's the same, right? Like, so they obviously have their advantages, typically more sensitive to direction, whatever. My point being is you didn't see one at all in the finals for the Street Fighter Cup or the Capcom
Yeah, that's
Cup.
pretty incredible. I mean, especially as you said, a controller player. Like controller, I feel like you just don't see that often either.
Right, I mean, now Punk though has been really good. Like he's won a lot of tournaments and everything here, but using a controller, he's kind of been that trendsetter. Sonic Fox also uses controllers. A lot of you'll see a lot of American players use controllers because again,
it's what you grew up with.
It's what you grew up with, and we never. You went to an arcade, but not to just solely play Street Fighter or something like that, right? So I bought a fighting stick just to give it a shot, and it's okay. It doesn't make me any better. Maybe if I was used to it, but
you should plug it in for CS. See how you do with it.
just to see. You can. I'm sure you could remap it to do something. You could probably remap it to do something here, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what was wrong with the controllers. I don't think it was Bluetooth because obviously they're not connecting these things wirelessly. They're hardwiring them in. So I don't know. I have no idea what caused the lag or anything like that. Now, that being said, yes, the tournament and production wasn't perfect. Yes, there was lag. Yes, you had a unsponsored upset beating Punk. I will not let this go by, though, because Punk tweeted out, I'm happy item won, but I'm sad I lost because P2, player 2 side, is so laggy and I was just dropping everything. Can you not just say congratulations and move on? Like, bring up the laggy shit
He's
later.
letting it be known. He's just letting it be known. I mean, if man, in the heat of the moment, if he feels like that, I can't blame him for like throwing in this is the excuse that I had. Now, it also depends on if other people had this same issue
And they
throughout
did.
the whole
They
event.
did. It was the
And it,
whole event they were doing it.
and if that's the case, then they're really, I feel like they should have figured out the issue before the finals, right? I mean, it's not the player's fault. He's playing on what's given to him. But if it was complained about several times, I don't know why that wouldn't have been adjusted or fixed or, at least looked at or acknowledged, whatever the case may be. But I don't blame him for in the heat of the moment, tweeting it out, hey, congrats. But, you know, I was lagging. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You won. Like, he's not saying you didn't deserve it. Just
Right. This
hey,
is why. This is why
yeah.
you won. So either way, we'll move on with it. I know they announced a new championship edition. I think that's what it's called for Street Fighter. It's coming out next year. $30 for every character and everything that's out there right now for the game. So if you're looking at getting involved with it, I guess here's your chance to do it. But there's that. Other championships that we have the Blast Pro Series and CSGO Summit, which I think is just now finishing up. Before we get to those, though, it is Monday, meaning it's everyone's favorite segment. It's the Yikes of the Week, and we got some here for you. I actually have 2 Yikes of the Week.
Oh.
Am I allowed to do that? Am I allowed to have 2 Yikes of the Week?
Yikes are built on their own, man. We can't
There
stop
are no
it.
rules.
We can't prevent it. There's no rules to yikes.
No rules to
If
Yikes.
it's a yikes and it needs to be said, it needs to be said.
Well put. I'll start with one of mine, and then you go, and then I'll go. How about that?
All right. Sounds good.
The first Yikes. Everyone likes rebrands, right? It's exciting. You never know what you're going to get. Is it going to be better? Is it going to be good? Everyone loves a brand reveal. Sometimes you get the Dallas Empire. Sometimes you get the Chicago Huntsman. Well, Evil Geniuses, a staple in the esports community, decided it was time for a rebrand. And Anuj, I don't know what they were thinking. It's not that it's bad.
It is bad.
I
did not like it at all. I thought
I don't get it.
Great yikes, Tim. I'm so glad you introduced this one into yikes.
It's like it looks like a font. Like you just picked a font and then stretched down the letter a little bit.
To me, they had such a cool, iconic logo, though. I really liked their logo. I thought it was creative. It was simple. It was like, symmetrical. Like, I mean, I just thought it was like a really good logo and a creative logo.
I'll tell you what they should have done is, their logo, how it was kind of slanted. If they wanted to rebrand, just make it straight. Like you're looking straight at the logo.
What is what is there a purpose to the V being the way it is? Am I missing something? Like, am I supposed to see something when I look at their logo, or is it just their name written in a
I just think it's the way it is. I don't think there's like some hidden thing.
Well, so I was trying to figure out. I didn't know if I was missing something looking at it, because it is. I mean, it's a terrible. This has been a really bad year for branding, if you ask me. Like, we've had some good ones mixed in, but I think there have been.
This is it, because esports is now maturing. A lot of these brands are saying we need to look good, right? Like, oh, we're getting big brands in here. We can't have our goofy looking emblem, right? We can't have our goofy brands. We got to look professional. And then you get this, the most bland, uninspiring rebrand ever. And it's bad when every other org under the sun is making fun of you on Twitter. Every single one.
Have we ever introduced a segment within a segment?
No.
Can we do a TCR first right now?
I would love it.
I want to introduce a quick 3-questionnaire clutcher kick for you on rebranding. And I'm going to give you 3 or 4 organizations, big organizations in esports that rebranded this year. Are you clutching or are you kicking their rebrand?
Okay.
Like,
Now if
in
I'm
a
if I'm
yikes of the
kicking,
week.
does that mean I don't like it, or do I think they're gonna go
It means
back
you
to the
hate
old
it.
one?
Kick it, get it out of here, redo it, bring the old one back. I don't want to see it again. Though that's what kicking it is. Clutching it means, hey, solid rebrand, we'll keep it.
Okay.
All right. So we'll start off with the obvious one, the one that you just mentioned, Evil Genius.
Again, I'm gonna kick.
All right. Give
This would have
me
been a cool if they just introduced it as a different logo. If they would have kept their other ones, it looks like they went with a darker blue as well. I don't mind the darker blue, but the fact that your name is just your thing, not, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling
yeah,
it. Kick.
I'm not feeling it either. Next one I got for you. Complexity.
That one I'm clutching. At
That one I'm
first,
clutching
I
too.
thought it was very bland and meh, but the way they've worked it into merch and everything like that, like their jerseys for Rocket League, looks clean as hell. I loved it. So I'm clutching NRG.
I'm definitely in clutch with NRG or with complexity also.
Oh, I'm
Like I think
sorry.
they're
I was thinking NRG. No, I'm a kick for complexity.
what? You're a kick for complexity?
How'd you like that turnaround on you?
Damn. Okay, hold on. Okay, we're gonna start this part over then. This is complexity segment here. You're kicking complexity.
Yeah.
Why are you kicking complexity?
Because I don't think when I see a clean, polished star that resembles Cowboys, like instantly, right? That's why they did it, because you think of the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think complexity at all. I feel like this was a sellout rebrand.
Yeah, but even now, so like what is it, 6, 7 months later after the rebrand, even now when you see the new star, right? Because it is a little different looking, obviously.
Yeah.
It's not
But I'm
the
just saying
same
their
star.
brand now looks so classy. If it wasn't, they should have just rebranded completely and changed the name. Like, I don't think anyone was gonna miss complexity. Like, no offense.
But they're only really truly in Counter Strike. I know they have a couple of other like Clash of Clans and a couple other, but really they're like a Counter Strike org first and foremost,
Right.
and an iconic brand in Counter Strike. So I wouldn't have liked it if they had changed the name.
I would have liked it
And
maybe if they just kept their red and black colors, right? I just
yeah, so it would have been cool if they had done this and yeah, kept the red and black. I understand exactly why they did what they did to go with the Cowboys colors. I
right.
mean, it all makes sense, right? Because
Yeah,
then
because their
the
headquarters
Bullets have
are
built a
part of the
facility.
Cowboys headquarters, so now it all looks good.
Yeah. But you know what though, in general, I like it. I like the look of it. Maybe that's the Cowboys fan in me saying that, but I think it's a really clean look for a logo. Okay, so we've been on complexity for a while, so I'm gonna give you the next one, and you already talked about them, NRG.
I like NRGs. I
You
like
like
theirs.
NRGs. I was a kick on it initially when they first
Yeah, when they
released,
first did it, they also had the dumbest uh
like
revealing
the
video
merch.
for it ever.
I
But
thought the initial merch was really weak too.
well, it was like
Like
a
they dropped
shirt with their logo on it.
well, they dropped like 3 items, right? It was like
Yeah.
were we making fun of that? It was like
It was
so
like a
small.
highlight yellow hoodie, and it just didn't look very good. But
Yeah.
I
No, but
like looking at old NRG. I do like new NRG.
I do too. I like new energy also. All right, and that's a clutch or kick brought to you in between segments of Yikes of the Week.
Like I just googled NRG esports, and they have like old and new. New
No, I like the
looks
new one. I
the
like the
new
new one a
looks
lot better.
way better.
Way better. Yeah.
Love
The
it.
first one did look like a
The first one
early
looked
on
like an
esports
esports.
logo.
It looked esports.
Yeah, it looks very esportsy.
NRG looks like you could sell it. Anyways, so there's that. Let's get to your yikes.
My yikes, man. So Tim, can you guess where my yikes is coming from based on historic trends of Yikes of the
It
Week?
would have to either be Overwatch or Call of Duty.
Ding, ding, ding. We got Call of Duty on the slate for you today. So, Call of Duty this past week did basically a streamer invitational tournament with 250K on the line. I mean, that's not like a joke number in my mind. That's like a really good prize pool for most esports events. And so, they did a like streamer invitational stream. They had a ton of big names in this thing. I mean, from the um, T2P guys out there in or what are those guys from like the old Optic crew. They had, I think XQC was in it. Summit was in this. Wasn't like Doc and
I
all
think
these
Doc
guys. I
was
mean, there
in
was
it. A
like,
lot of people were. Shroud was
yeah,
in it.
Shroud was in it.
Do you
There was like
remember
just a
him?
lot of
You
big
remember who
names.
Shroud was?
I vaguely Shrewd, Shroud, Shroud, Shrewd.
Former
Yeah, no.
streamer.
So this is where I didn't agree. Although I love the idea, I do think it's cool to bring in big names outside of Call of Duty into these types of events that are great personalities. I did not like that they didn't invite any pro players into the match that are also like active in the streaming community, right?
Yeah.
When I think of streamers, you think of your Scumps, Claysters, Crimsix. There's a handful of these guys, Karma, Formal. These guys stream a lot, and they're very active on these streaming platforms and are really good for the platforms, right? Like somebody like Scump is drawing 20 plus thousand viewers every time he gets on. So to me, yes, he's a professional player, but he's also like a professional streamer. And I thought it was a little tasteless not to include any of them. And maybe they could have made some rules about teaming, right? Like you can't have more than one pro player on your team if you're gonna play with a pro streamer, or a pro player being a pro streamer also. And so for me, I thought that that kind of sucked because it was hosted by Call of Duty. Once again, like I didn't hear a lot of promotional stuff on the CDL. Like this was an event for the streamers to bring in people that maybe don't have big Call of Duty
Yeah,
audiences
but
into the
they've
mix.
spent more time promoting this than they have their actual league.
It's true, they did. This was
Like
like
this
I
got
knew when it was
more
on.
attention from Activision and whoever's in charge than their actual league that kicks off in like a month and a half. So
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely right. So
yeah.
yeah,
But
unfortunately,
Shroud did have a nutty play.
he
Like
had a
with that
crazy 3K.
pistol, it was like a
The Beagle.
3v1. I don't even know how he did it. You could slow that thing down and I still wouldn't understand how he did it.
Okay, so you know what? Like everyone freaks out about that second kill, right? Which was the flick shot of the three.
Yeah.
I was more impressed with the first one because I didn't even see the amount of time. Like he ran and jumped down those stairs and shot him so quickly. I didn't even see the guy initially on his screen
Right.
when he did it, and so I thought that was just impressive. So yeah, he
This
still got it. He left Twitch, but his aim did not leave him.
So
So
this is why I think these are all yikes, and this and like the Twitch rival tournaments and all this, right? Is because I don't think they're explained well enough to us of what to expect, right? A lot of the competitive COD faithful are very upset about this because, like you said, they want to see the pro players in. It wasn't a pro setting tournaments, right? It was 6-on-6. This was like a casual, this is like a pug, right? This is almost like your celebrity softball game, right? It's like the rules aren't the same, right?
well, then the money should have gone to charity.
It
If
really
that's how they're going to
and they really should, and that's what I think is dumb, right? It's like you have all these
paying them.
right, you
to
have
do
all
it.
these top streamers, and I think that's where the pros get upset, right? Is like, yo, I'm a pro, I play this game professionally, and then you have people who don't even stream the game up for a chance of earning money playing it. And I definitely see why the pros would be upset. Now, if you really want to make it, I think like you said, why not throw one pro on each team, still have your streamer celebrity involved, make it for charity or do something else other than I don't care that all these guys are getting 250,000. Like Shroud gets that in a week. Like you think I give a shit that he's playing in a tournament for 250,000? No, they don't even care about it. Like they're all joking around. Like Summit
I
gets
would
on
be
to practice
so
the
tense.
day of.
Can you imagine how serious we would take that if we had our
Oh
own
my
group event?
God.
Oh Lord, that would have been the Super Bowl for us.
So I think that's where the communication, the failure to communicate falls in, where it's like we are expecting a real like tournament, right? We're expecting, oh sweet, a COD tournament, where Twitch is like, no, we're just doing this for fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? This is just a fun Activision ran tournament, and no one take it too serious, even though it's 250,000 on the line.
A lot on the line.
Again, I just think it's amazing how Activision or anyone else over there fails to acknowledge the competitive scene whatsoever. Like, game after game after game, they just go more and more and more to their casual audience.
This one is just, more surprising for me in general. Just because of everything that's, at stake for them this year, for them to be the way they are about it. It's just pretty cavalier, man. Like they're really going out on a limb thinking it's just going to take off on its own. And I think it will still do well. It's just it would help if they promoted it.
Right. Especially too with the casual, like this was your chance, right? For casual fans to meet pro players. Like, oh, I like, this is entertaining. I like watching Doc play. Oh, he's playing with a guy named Scump. Who is this? Oh, he's a professional player. Neat. And then the league starts and you're like, hey, there's Scump. That's the guy that played with Dr. Disrespect. So it's, one of those weird things, I guess. My other and my last yikes of the week. We talked about it last week with DreamHack and them announcing all their schedules. I might be able to go to DreamHack Dallas now. We'll see. That's still TBD. But that's not the yikes of the week. I didn't even realize when we looked at these dates, a listener actually pointed out to us on our Discord that DreamHack Dallas and DreamHack Atlanta both fall on the same weekends as the CSGO majors for 2020.
Isn't that lovely?
Isn't
is
yikes.
That lovely. That is a big yikes. I mean, do you think they knew? I doubt it, right?
Well, they have announced the majors a while ago. The issue, and this is like, I know some listeners in Discord were saying, well, why don't they just change the days for DreamHack? The logistics of that is really not possible. They start planning these things as soon as the other one's over because they got to rent out the convention center. They got to get with the city. Permits are involved. They start setting up and designing the stages, which gets the fire marshal involved. Like, there's a lot more to it than just looking at the schedule.
Places like this get booked out, at times a year in advance anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not like they could wait, but whose job is that then to make sure something like this doesn't happen?
Well, realistically, like I said, I bet you DreamHack knew that this was going to be their day long before Valve announced when the CSGO majors were going to be. Part of the issue is, A, it wasn't public, so who knows if Valve even reaches out to people like, hey, we're going to do a tournament on this day. Did you have anything scheduled?
Well, this is the first time Valve even announced it slightly early, right?
Right.
Usually it's been like at the next event.
And that's my next point. Like, do you think Valve would even have cared? Like, if DreamHack was like, oh, yeah, we're having DreamHack Dallas that weekend. Oh, okay, cool. Well, we're going to do the major there. So don't invite any top 10
not
team.
Getting the major. I mean, it's like, imagine if they were like, well, DreamHack, we're awarding y'all the major. It's like, oh, okay. Major will be in either Dallas or Atlanta.
Right.
We already got the venue booked.
It's, so that will kind of suck, especially because last Dallas was a master event, right? Like that one, you had the huge teams being there. That was a big of tournament. And now you have, who knows, right? Cloud9 might show up.
Riot Squad, Singularity, Cloud9, Swole Patrol.
It's like
United.
Yeah, these are the teams you're gonna get. It's gonna be your normal DreamHack event where you're like, oh,
Ghost Gaming.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's where this guy's been playing the whole time. Okay, all right. So I don't know. It's to be decided. I guess someone even said like, oh, they still might be a Masters event. No way. No way are they going to have a DreamHack. They're not going to put that much money. That might have been what changed, right? It might have been a DreamHack Masters, and then they saw the date and saw, oh, no way. So I don't know what they're going to put in the big arena at Dallas, but
it's unfortunate for us because obviously, like, I mean, I want to watch the major, and I will watch the major. It's just going to be part of my
different.
It's going to be different.
It's going to be a VOD major. We might do a casting couch live from DreamHack. Who knows?
Yeah, which is also sucks because that's like those are the types of events that we definitely want to do a casting couch for, and not being able to properly do or the way we would want to do it. But yeah, we might do something cool like do it live and just show you all the event anyway. We'll be streaming from those events regardless. Yeah. So
Who
But
knows?
yeah,
Maybe even
that's
based off the time, we might be able to get home Sunday night if the majors time allowing. Either way, it was a yikes of the week for me. Just a yikes. And I'm sure it was a bigger yikes for the DreamHack staff. I'm sure they were like, when they saw those majors announced, they were probably like, God, why, Valve? Why? All right. Let's get right back into championship weekend. Because we had two big ones. Again, CSGO Blast Pro. The Blast Pro series, their finals wrapped up, and also CS Summit. Which one did you want to talk about first?
let's go over Blast Pro.
All right. So this, of course, was the one that we did our casting couch for. So if you were watching it live or went back to watch the VODs, you might know some of our thoughts on this already. So we talked about this with some listeners at some event about dynasties, right? And how he was like, man, I love watching Astralis win. I love seeing dynasties. Just our listener, Jazzy Josh, saying he loves watching dynasties. I'm not anti-dynasty. Like, I don't think I'm tired of seeing Astralis win, but what I am tired of is seeing them beat Liquid. Like, I think I'm more tired of seeing Liquid just completely fall on their own faces.
You want to see a new challenger?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
because let's face it. And, FaZe Clan got 4th. Nip got 3rd. Cool. Let's talk about the finals. Liquid was so scared this entire finals against Astralis. They looked to be not confident. The lack of confidence that Liquid showed seemed like to be the common theme throughout every single round. Sure, they, 16-11, 16-12, I guess you could say those are respectable scores, but I don't even think it was as close as those show.
No, because like Inferno started off with Astralis going on like an 8 or 9-0 run to start off the game. So that never really felt like a game. Liquid won a couple of rounds there late on their T side. And then even really on when they went onto the CT side, they gave up a few rounds early and the margin was just so wide. You knew they had no chance in that match. That first game really was like a sleeper because it felt done 6-7 rounds in. It was pretty demoralizing. And Dupree and these guys were really just, if they felt flawless, would at the same time I felt like Liquid made so many mental mistakes. And we kept seeing it, whether they were pushing up banana and not holding a corner properly, or they didn't have somebody there to trade, or they got caught in really bad spots, and Astralis's utility just completely demoralize them, before the round even started. How many rounds did we see where 2 or 3 of Liquid's guys have lost between 20 to 70 HP off of nade and molly
Round
damage
after
before
round,
the
they would go into the same spot.
Yeah. It was nonstop, and so, yeah, that first game.
Yeah, it's funny because Tavik said in chat, they looked like him trying to be good at CSGO. And although that is a joke, he's not entirely wrong. There were times where on Inferno, the angles that they were holding on B site looked like they have never held B in their lives. They were
Yeah.
both holding, like, at one point in time, I forget the players who were there, but it was on Liquid. They were holding B. One was in construction, and then the other one was underneath flower pot. Like, the construction guy was watching the rotation from CT, even though you had guys in A still, who for whatever reason wasn't watching arches, and then you had the guy in flower pot watching banana. Well, that leaves you completely open. That leaves that site one smoke.
One smoke.
One smoke,
Take that
that
site.
site's theirs. And guess what happened? One smoke, 3 guys from Astralis stroll into the site, plant the bomb, and you still have a guy in flower pot and construction just
And in
sitting
that
there.
round and a couple other rounds where they did similar stuff, this was like really late on the clock, right? This was
Yeah.
maybe where there was like 7 to 10 seconds left before they were getting this bomb down. So had they had any pushback in those situations, those are rounds that they could have flipped and won if they had just gotten one kill there, held them off just a
Or
little
made
bit
him take
longer.
one extra strafe, right? Make him do
Yeah, I
one
mean,
more jiggle peek to not get to the site a second faster.
and then it's kind of the same thing in Nuke a little bit. It was fairly even sided for the CT side when it came to Nuke for Liquid, but we were saying like we thought although Nuke is getting closer to a 50-50 map, it's still, in my mind, a little bit more CT favored. And for them to come out 8-7, we really did not feel that confident going into the second half that Liquid had much of a chance. We kind of expected them to lose at that point, and Astralis just steamrolled them. I mean, the second half, again, wasn't even close. Astralis won, what, 7 out of the first 8 rounds on their CT side. And again, you kind of knew at that point it was like, okay, this is just
Not
another
looking
classic
good.
Astralis Liquid game.
Yeah, and they're like there again, same thing with Inferno. There were a few rounds where you felt like if Liquid would have just played it differently. There's a big difference between like 11-4 and say 10-5. Like there
Yeah.
is. It doesn't seem like it, but that is a huge difference when it comes to, moving on into the next half or anything like that. There was one time it was Twist on Nuke on B site. I don't know. I've never seen this in my life. He tried to get so cute with the smoke grenade to try to ninja defuse. I
It
don't
was
know
such a
what the
bad
hell he was doing. Like he tried to bounce it off the wall and then wrap around the reactor or
silo.
whatever it is on B site, right? That big thing that sits in the middle of it.
He bounced off a wall, not looking at the bomb, not knowing where it was planted, and so whether he, like, misjudged it or thought it was planted somewhere else, it didn't cover the bomb. He had no way of
And then
diffusing, and it was in
Zipnik
the
sitting
wide
up
open.
top on site just kind of peeked real quick, saw that he could clearly see the bomb and was like, "Oh, all right, not going to shoot and give away my position. Like I'm just going to
I'll
sit
just
here."
I'll just hold this right here. Yeah, so I mean, again, this was the last big tournament of the year for these two teams to attend.
Yep.
This kind of wraps up the season, and I think kind of puts a bow on it in terms of who we both think had the best year. Who
Yeah.
was the best overall Counter Strike team? We said just a couple weeks back that there was 2 tournaments remaining for both of them to be in. If Astralis could come out feeling pretty good on both of these, winning both of these, that we thought they would be the team of the year. And I 100% feel that way after both of these events. Even they did win both of them, but now just the story is just so it's not even close. It doesn't feel
Yeah,
anymore.
it
You feel
is
the
weird
same
how
way?
this one event changes that narrative. Last week we were saying like, well, I don't know if Liquid beats them here, then it's going to be, you can say 2019 was Liquid's year, and regardless of not winning 2 majors, right? Astralis won 2 majors, Liquid won the Grand Slam, right? They had that good stretch, and now that's really what all that was. It was a good stretch.
Yeah, Liquid had the best run of the year. They had the best, like, 3-month period of the year, but the year belonged to Astralis, and I just don't it doesn't feel that close anymore to me. And Astralis has kind of asserted themselves as the clear-cut number 1 in the world going into 2020.
Yeah.
Again, I don't see a true contender to slow them down right now. It doesn't mean one can't emerge. But I do see them as the team to watch in 2020. There's nothing that I could see slowing them down. And this was the thing we talked about on stream when we were doing Casting Couch with Astralis. It was like I really enjoyed watching them rise to fame, right? Because when they were with TSM and then they moved over to Astralis, they were always that number 2 team or a team that was bounced in the quarters constantly, and then they finally made it to the semis and just could never overcome that hurdle. And then once they finally did, they have started this, like, epic run where my fandom for them has turned into me rooting against them, but not for the reasons of, like, I don't like Astralis. I love watching them play Counter-Strike. I love it when they're in finals because they are so damn good. But I do wanna see a challenger come in and, like, take that throne. I like that underdog story. We have not really seen that out in a while outside of, that stretch for Liquid, but Liquid didn't do it in the major, so I never really felt like Astralis was, like, dethroned. It's
Mm-hmm.
just they were getting pushed around a little bit, but nobody was really grabbing it from them, and Liquid really would have needed to finish off the year like they were during that stretch for me to believe that they're the better team.
Yeah, I
So
think
I
the
am
one thing
looking
that,
forward to the fall, but not for the wrong reasons, I
and
don't
I don't
think.
know who can knock out Astralis as number 1. I mean, no team right now looks consistent enough on a top level to where you could convince me that Astralis is going to be number 2 at any point in time in the near future. The one thing with Astralis for this year, though, that I think we can take away from is that they're not immune to outside chatter, because I really do think in retrospect, before when they were only playing Blast Pro series events, and it's because their ownership was also Blast Pro ownership, and everyone was like, well, this is why you're doing it, because you're pretty much trying to pimp out this. And they were like, no, that's not it at all. But it clearly was that. And then so they separated from the ownership group and went to other events. It was like as soon as that drama was done, it was like a switch flipped. And all of a sudden, they were back to their old selves.
I think everybody pissed them off, is what happened, is they were just annoyed of hearing the same storyline over and over, and they worked hard to regain that number 1 title. They didn't panic when they were losing some one-off BO1s where we saw that stretch where they just didn't look the same, and it was like, wow, is this like, could this possibly be done? But then I tell myself, they're like the freaking Patriots, dude. Every time you count them out, they come back and they bust you for another Super Bowl, right? Brady is sitting at 45. Well, I hate to break it to you guys, Astralis is still a young team. All right. They are
Yeah.
not an old team by any means. And in fact, their star players um, are, I think, the players that still have room to grow, like a Magisk, right? Like, I think Magisk can still get better than he is now. Device is showing no signs of slowing down outside of his injury. He came back and he's been, for me, the same player, same consistent player. And then they just have somebody else out of the 3, Dupree, Glaive, or Zipnix, step up every game. Like, one of them manages to do it. So I don't see an end in sight for these guys, man. I think 2020 is going to be another Astralis year, honestly.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Unless this ATK signing really works out for Cloud9. I guess you never know.
That is the one thing that could turn the tables. Like, if ATK signs with Cloud9, I kind of see
It could turn it all around.
I see Rio being a Cloud9 major.
It could really turn things around, man. All right. And let's get into Summit real quick. But before we do that, I have one more yikes of the week. And that's the fact that Mouse Sports ended up winning this thing. How? We started this show, we started recording, and they just got 16-1 on Vertigo. Now, for those who don't know, Mouse, you're thinking, well, why are you so surprised, Tim? They just won ECS Pro League Finals. Well, that's because they're playing with 2 substitutes. And not just 2, but one is their coach that literally had to step in because Kerrigan had to fly home because he was borderline deported. We're like in mid-tournament.
Well, no, so he was having visa issues for Epicenter, so an upcoming tournament
So he had to go to
that they're going to be
Epicenter.
playing in, and they were saying that he wasn't going to be able to handle the visa issues in time to be able to attend that event.
Okay, so that's what
And so he
I know it was
had to
visa
get back
issues, but
home in order to take care of it. And so, yeah, they literally had a countdown timer on the streams showing when Kerrigan's departure time was, where he like had to leave. And there was a chance, Tim, that he was going to get to play map 2. So map 1, just to we'll kind of jump into the finals and then work our way back here. So map 1, Mouse Sports is leading. They have, I think, a little bit of a comfortable lead going in towards the end of the game here. G2 makes a comeback. They end up tying it. It goes into overtime. That's the end of Kerrigan's time. There was a chance
which,
that he
man,
would get to play 2 maps,
isn't
but the
that just
overtime really
gaming in a
killed that.
nutshell, right? Like, how many times have you told your wife, babe, it's going to be like 10 more minutes. Don't worry. Or like you tell your mom, right, back in the day, like, Mom, I'll be down for dinner. This is almost over. We're up like 13-5, okay? We're going to finish this in 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden, an hour later, she's like, where are you? And you're like, we went into overtime. I don't know how. We blew it.
I don't know what happened.
We blew it. I don't know what happened.
You could see Mouse Sports kind of just grinning when that went into overtime. That was a tough pill for them to swallow. So they go into overtime. And for for the majority of the next match, Tim and I were like, "Well, we're about to start the show. This might work out perfect." Mouse is just gonna get swept here, right? Like there's no chance. They have a 1-0 lead. G2 has a 1-0 lead. They win Mirage. Coach is stepping in. You have NATO now on the team. You have the coach playing on the team. You're going to Vertigo. Maybe that was going to be a saving grace because you could say, hey, it's a random map, right? Like you have a chance to
Yeah,
win Vertigo.
Vertigo. No one. I mean,
Anybody
G2
can win
just
Vertigo,
played
right?
it for the first time competitively like a week ago.
And you're like, wait, we're starting off CT, guys. Like we could do this. We're starting off CT Vertigo. We know how they're going to execute. We just got to hold our angles. No, they get smacked 14-1 CT side. They lose the round. They lose the match 16-1, and now we're tied 1-1 going into Train, where we're now getting ready to start the show. At this point, we're like, let's do this. Let's start the show. We know G2 is going to win this. I'm telling Tim, maybe we should like put this at the end of the show, just in case. Just in case Mouse Sports decides to do something funny. And what do, Tim?
They can't believe it. They came back and won Train 16-14 with 2 fill-ins, one being their coach, who ended up going overall 14-38. On Train, he went 12-22. Vertigo, 2-16. His average ADR, or his ADR on Vertigo, was 19.1. Now, I could do better than that. I could get you more than 19 damage around. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And you know what? I guess you can give props to Mouse Sports, like touche on them for, good job. GG's. But what the hell, G2? How can you guys... It seems like time and time again, they do it just to meme themselves. Like their poor guy who runs their Twitter is probably like, what do you want me to tweet after this? Like, what do you want me to say?
Carlos is copying Jason Lake's post as we speak. You're about to see a copy and paste of Jason Lake's post, because this is one of those games where, I mean, if you're G2, how do you even explain this, right? The only thing that you could say is, well, man, they still had Frozen and Rops, right? They still had their 2 star players there who can frag out. And if you're going to lose players, you probably don't want to lose one of them, right? If you told me Rops had to go to the airport, I would have told you, good luck. This game is over. Let's just shut it down right now. I know the IGL, you could kind of feel the same way, but the coach is also an IGL a little bit in my eyes, in the sense of who else is going to understand the in-game strategy better than him, right? Outside of Kerrigan, who else is going to be able to?
I would
to
assume the coach is the one who's seen the most film.
Yeah, so he can go into that pure support role and really just focus on calling and not worry too much about fragging. And so, still incredibly impressive. That's back-to-back tournaments for Mouse Sports. This is for them to get just here. What was it? The ESL Pro League final win, and now to come back and although Summit is a casual tournament, there was great teams in this tournament, Tim. Like we were not in a shortage of talent, in talented teams, talented individuals in this, and for Mouse to win, I mean, that's a statement win for them going into next year.
I think especially with what they had going, right? The fact that, I mean, if there was one team that could use an excuse to be like, hey, because I even joked around like, wow, this is going to be the easiest 52,000 G2 will ever win in their lives. So, I mean, if there was any team that could use an excuse, it was Mouse Sports. And for the fact that they didn't use that as an excuse, it almost looked like Rops used it as a reason to pop off even more, right? To put the team on his back even harder. Dude, I think it does speak a lot of value, a lot about Mouse Sports, right? As far as like where that team is at, and the fact that, hey, it doesn't matter if our legendary in-game leader isn't here, right? We can still operate efficiently. Now, of course, it helps when you're playing G2 and they seem to just always suck in the worst of times. But pretty cool story.
But is there a team that needed this more than Mouse did? The way they had played this year. I know that we said earlier, like they're a really young team.
As far as like
But
end of the year,
well, in just terms of like a team that needed to find some momentum, right? Like a team that needed to have a lift because they did have a tough season. I didn't think
I
this
mean,
was like a easy year for
I could
Mouse, right?
almost
Like they had,
argue that the team they played against needed it more. G2.
well,
Like you
yeah,
want to
but
talk about, I mean, even you go back and look at
which
their
team do you
tweets.
think is supposed to be a better team, though? Right? Like Mouse Sports to me is that top 10 team that is also been top five several times, and is trying to hold a top five spot consistently. G2, I see as a team that needs a boost to just feel like they can play competitive CS against the best teams consistently, right? I think they're in different areas, but you're right. They both do need like a morale booster in their own way. I just think for Mouse, it's like, hey, if we want to show we can be top five consistently, we need to be able to win a tournament, right? We can't be that team that keeps getting to the semifinals and losing, like, or getting to a quarters and not making it to the next round and finding a way to drop a random game to 100 Thieves or somebody that we don't feel like they should lose to. But for them to get a couple of wins going in, getting into the end of the year, I thought the ESL one was incredibly impressive, beating Astralis in the finals. And
Right.
then to back this up with the way that they won this, they should have a lot of confidence going into next year. And I know they have Epicenter coming up, so even into the next tournament. But um, highly impressive by them. There were other performances in this tournament that I know we were both looking forward to watching. There was a lot of talk coming into this tournament around, to kind of switch the script here.
Oh, before
Um,
you get into that, can I say one more thing about Mouse
yeah,
Sports
yeah.
here?
Please do.
Is the betting lines for this all
Oh my
over the
gosh.
place, all
And
over the place. So if you're a gambler like myself, I jumped in here and I was like, damn it, I just missed it because right when Kerrigan tweeted out saying, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it past like the first map, maybe the second, I was like, well, easy money. I'm going to go in. They're still going to be the favorites, so I could get maybe a quick bet on G2 to win this thing. And, like the odds were like, they were like a plus 200. So that means for
yeah,
every 100 I put down, I would get 100 back. So you'd win $200, walk away with 300 because of your whatever. That's how it works. Thank God I was not in time because it's really tough to beat the bookie. So they get on that shit fast. And I don't know how they do it. They must have people just watching everything. It's magic. I don't even know. It's like Santa Claus or something. But they've already readjusted it. And like Mouse Sports was like a plus 400 to win once Kerrigan left.
I think they were like 6-1 odds on like Betway.
Was it?
they
Okay,
were-
yeah. So I don't use,
yeah,
I use a
they were
different
like
site.
they were like crazy underdogs going into the match, and so
Bro.
this was a
Well, and imagine too, like Tavik just said, anyone who bet on Mouse made fat stacks. Like at that time, right? You would have to bet mid match because Mouse was the favorite going in, and it's not like your odds. You're locked in on whatever odds you bet,
if you came in and dropped fat stacks on Mouse after
bro.
the coach
I
was
should have done
subbing
it.
in.
I should have just bet
Or
the
heaven
odds.
forbid you were the guy that came in at the end of match 2 and was like, "Oh man, I'm hammering Mouse right now. They just lost 16-2. They got this next one." Like if you were that guy, God bless you,
That's
because
where
that is not an easy thing to
that's where
do.
being a fanboy comes in handy because that's the only person making that bet.
Or somebody with just a lot of throwaway money.
a lot of throwaway.
Yeah.
So, and if you were that guy who bet G2 before they adjusted the odds, then sorry about your luck. That sucks because you just pretty much burnt money away at something that was all. I mean, I'm with you, buddy. I was there. Thank God my bookie like adjusted the odds before I was able to put money down because I would have been that chump who put money on G2 thinking it was easy win and it wasn't. But congratulations to those who did. Damn. All right, yeah. So you were saying though the other performances.
Yeah, so let's touch on some of these other teams. So the last two spots here went to our lovely Brazilian family of MIBR and Furia. And this is another tournament for MIBR. They replaced Lucas One. They added Mayer to the team. I think we're hoping for a little bit of a boost, something to kind of kickstart them. And Mayer wasn't the problem. I thought he played fairly well. I don't think he looked bad. But again, just another disappointing performance from MIBR. They went 3-7 in the tournament. They were -25 on round differential. In no point did I think that they really looked good. They handily beat VP in one of the matches. They also lost to him, so they did split with VP. Um, they just didn't look good. It's just
Yeah, it
another
used to be
tournament
fun.
now where
Speaking of dynasties, right? It was really fun when MIBR was falling. But now that they have fallen, it's really you really do kind of feel for them because
yeah, like,
they cannot find their feeding
do you
whatsoever. It
think
doesn't matter who they put.
this is the new MIBR? Like, this is what MIBR is? Or could we say this is like an extended 1-year slump? I mean, because it's been a full year since
No, I
they've
think
been
this is what
good.
they are.
I do too.
This
I do
is
too. I don't think we're going to see.
if you're a Brazilian Counter-Strike fan, man, I don't want to say I feel sorry for you, but I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about you, buddy, because you're in a tough spot right now. For Brazilian Counter-Strike 2 years ago, you were riding high. Between Immortals and MIBR or SK, whoever they were at the time, dude, they were puffing their chests. And they had all the right in the world too, because Brazilian Counter-Strike was nasty and it was on the rise. And you were like, damn, they're going to have another feeder team in here. And Furia popped up towards the end of that Brazilian, time. And then it all fell apart. I mean, now it's all riding on the Sharks because you don't
Do you
sleep
think
on the Sharks.
this could be a really interesting major in Brazil, because we might not have one Brazilian team make it to the Legends stage. I have a tough time believing that any of these teams
Yeah.
will, unless MIBR is already a Legend, they might already, but make the new Legend stage, I should say. Um, I think all of these teams are going to have a tough time. Do you think MIBR is in the same boat as FaZe?
Man, no, I would almost say I feel more confident about FaZe turning it around than I do MIBR.
Do you say that just because of Nico and Cold?
I just think they have the gunpowder, right? They have that raw talent that could win matches for them. With MIBR, who is your raw talent now?
Yeah, I think with FaZe, you're right. You find a IGL, and I think that could solve a lot of their problems. They've refused to do so, and I think they'll suffer until then. So if they don't find an IGL, I think we're going to continue to see the same FaZe that we've seen. For MIBR, you're absolutely right, though. They don't have the firepower anymore. Fallen is not a top 5 opera in the world anymore. Fur's role has diminished quite a bit. I think Taco's still doing okay, but he's never been a hard carry, right? So you can't rely on him to win you matches. And then the other two have just kind of been a little bit of a revolving door now, in terms of, since Cold left, they haven't found any consistency. So I do think it's unlikely that we see MIBR do anything to make us believe that they're going to be back anytime soon. It was nice, Tim, seeing VP in a tournament after so long.
Yeah. I mean, they've really kind of been banished to tier 2 EU events here lately. They do
Yeah,
the
I mean,
DreamHack circuit.
can you remember the last time you watched them in a big event?
I
Was there
mean,
one in 2019
Bilal
that you can recall?
Bialy was probably still on the team.
It's been a long time.
Like
It's been a long time, and it was nice to see, because they still have, big
Pasha
boy
might have still been
snacks
on
on
the
the
team.
team. They still have snacks there, and they have, a handful of other young talented players. But they didn't look bad. They didn't look great all the time. They definitely had some moments there, and especially again that MIBR game. They had, one brutal game against them. They had another brutal loss to G2 at 16-2. But all in all, like, they had some so-so performances. Like, they took one off of OG, and we'll get into them a moment. They took one off of G2. They finished 4-7 for the tournament. Um, I don't know how often we're going to see them again? Does this mean that we're going to be seeing them more often? Probably not. But I'll tell you, it was nice to see them back on the main stage because that's a iconic brand in CS that for anyone that's grown up in the CS:GO era, that's a team that's always been there up until
Yeah, but do you think
2019.
you'll see
So
him again? Like, when's the
no,
next
I
time you
don't.
think you'll see VP?
I don't. I don't think we'll see him again like in terms of a big tournament in 2020. It's highly unlikely that we see them in more than one or two events. They might get the random invite here and there, maybe especially being visible here in the CS Summit tournament. Maybe buys them another invite somewhere else next year because again they didn't perform terrible here. But it's unlikely that we see them in another big tournament next year. Uh, Yeah, but still, I thought it was fun. I enjoyed seeing Snacks and the guys out there again. Another team that the last team that we really want to get into that I think most of us we were really highly anticipating seeing them on the big stage. Now, keep in mind, very limited practice, right? These guys did not get to boot camp at all, but that would be OG Gaming, the new found roster that has NBK, formed around NBK and Alexi B. They have Valde, who came over from North, Isa from Hellraisers, and then the new guy, Mantu, who was the star player of the tournament for him. And they finished off in third with a 6-4 record, had a winning record, a +13 on round differential. And Tim, I gotta say, like, there were some bad moments, but as a whole, like, I feel like if I were them, I would feel okay about this event. They didn't play too bad. Losing to G2 now looks a lot worse after G2 just got an embarrassing loss to Mouse Sports, but
By a
um,
glued together Mouse Sports. No, but I think OG, like you said, like when you're in your first tournament, I feel like you get a lot of passes, even for I would say their next 5 tournaments, right? Like you have a good breathing room when you're a new org, a new roster going into Counter Strike or any esports for that matter. I don't think you should be too quick to judge, especially because this is a global roster, right? None of these guys have played together before. It truly is an experiment, if you want to use that word. But no, yeah, I thought they played well. This was the perfect tournament for them to get their feet wet. That casual kind of style. You don't have any pressure from a crowd or anything like that, right? Um, I thought they played well. I don't. Are they going to be at Epicenter? Let's take a
I
look.
can tell
I'm pulling
you
it up
right.
right now. No, they're not. Epicenter actually looks pretty interesting in itself, which we can talk about in a second here. But no, yeah, I thought OG played well. Nothing spectacular. I'm still not really sure where I see that roster going. Right? They almost seem like a
Can I
top
can I give you a bold
15.
prediction?
Yeah, go for it.
I want to say they finished the year top 8 in 2020.
Really?
Maybe, yeah. Like, yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised at like top 7. I think they're a very good roster. I think they have a ton of talent. I think they have all the roles filled. I think watching Mantu, even in this small stint here in Summit, the kid can play. He
Yeah.
is a very good opper. Can hold his own, and he carried some of the maps for him. So I do think this team has what it takes to be, close to, if not, a top 5 team throughout the year. But I thought they did a really good job. I'm not so much looking at the record. I just wanted to see how it kind of fit. Like, how did these pieces fit? Nathan MBK was calling. Alexi B was kind of like the assistant in that situation. I think Isa is a player that will grow on this team. I think with Hellraisers, he could only do so much. I think this will allow him to kind of expand and kind of flourish a little bit more. So I think this is a roster that has a lot of potential going into 2020. Like, I just wouldn't be surprised if um, they're one of the better teams going into the end of next year.
All right. Well, I think that just about does it then for Summit and all of Championship Sunday. Again, what a it doesn't happen very often, but man, when the stars align and you have so many finals, Rainbow Six, Rocket League, FGC games involved, it makes it for a very busy but yet exciting Championship Sunday. Let's get into some e-news. Speaking of one of the last events for CSGO of this year, Epicenter kicks off the 17th. So just in a couple of days, you will have that. Big teams there: Navi, Mouse Sports, Vitality, Evil Geniuses, and then Avangar. Heroic, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Whatever happened to them when...
We should see a full Mouse Sports roster back together, too, with Toxic and...
or maybe they make a change. Maybe they keep the coach in. You never know. You never know. Honestly, the one more interesting thing here, though, is they announced their talent, and Thorin is going to be the host. Not an analyst, not a commentator, a host. The
Pretty
host.
crazy. It's going to be fun. The banter is going to be fun. I mean, it might annoy the hell out of some people, and I'm sure it will. It might even annoy a lot of the players, and I'm sure it will. It might annoy my lovely co-host, Tim K over here.
Oh, yes, it will.
I'm sure it will. So
I will watch, but it's only just to... I think
I
appreciate his knowledge. I think he's very cringe. I think
like
he's more
that
cringe
he
than
plays,
not.
To me, the Stephen A. Skip Bayless kind of... He's willing to say things just to almost like get a reaction. And look,
Yeah, but
I'm okay with that sometimes.
The
he's
thing
not
with
on the,
like
he's
Stephen
not on the
A.
desk often enough, right? Like if
Right.
you did it all the time, Tim, I would be there with you.
Well, the fact that he only gets hired for like 2 events a year helps, right?
That's why I'm okay with it. I think
Back
like
5 years ago when he was at every event, it got old really
It did.
quick. But the fact that he
It
can
did.
only get a job like twice a year makes it a little easier to swallow.
Well,
So
I think
we'll see.
that's a big reason why you only see him a couple times a year, because when he was doing it all the time,
It got old.
it rubbed people the wrong way.
Yep. So there's that. That'll be at least entertaining to watch, to say the least. Other CSGO news. I don't know how to say this name. Is it Brut?
Brute.
Brute. 19-year-old Imperial player. He played for Imperial. Ended up passing away this afternoon. I guess he was kind of on leave for health issues, was hospitalized in Rio, and later pronounced dead. He was part of that Brazilian scene.
God bless him, dude. That's terrible for him and his family. I mean, 19, and I don't know what medical problems he was unfortunately dealing with, but it just again, it goes to show you guys got to take care of yourself, man. Life is too short, and you got to be healthy, even when you're gaming, even when
Get up
you're trying
and
to go
stretch.
pro, you're trying to do, you're trying to grind it out, or
Get
you
some
do these
sleep.
really long streams. Like, be smart, be healthy. Again, not to say that he did any of this. I have no idea what caused him. It kind of just makes you sit back and reflect, though, because this is just a kid, and you hate to see something like that happen. And our condolences go out to him and his family, and the whole Brazilian scene.
Hopefully, I would say between now and May is not long enough. Hopefully at the major they do something. Moment of silence. I don't know if they do that over there, if that's like an American thing. I don't know. But it would be nice to see. You have a Brazilian pro who recently passed away within 6 months. You should do something at the major, Valve. Something.
Yep.
I think it would be nice. So stay hard, Brute. Speaking of being healthy. So I went back and watched Casting Couch. I don't know if it's just me looking at myself or it's me sitting next to you. I will make an effort. I'm going to tell the listener right now. If you see me with an energy drink or a pop, I want you to slap my face. I got to get healthy. I look big. It doesn't help that your head is like half the size of mine. Like even skinny me have a big head and you just naturally have a small head.
A small head in general, so it's like a fun combination for us both. You know what, Tim? Let's make that both an effort of ours this year to get healthy.
Let's not go to the gym though. Let's not get crazy.
Can we just eat healthy? Let's
We
start
can
off
eat
with
healthy
eating
and then
healthy.
maybe go to the gym.
Yeah, a
Maybe
walk
go to
here
the
and
gym.
there.
I also need to get some sun. Again, not really fair sitting next to you because you're
I am the
Indian.
sun.
Like, you kind of already
I
you're
win
like
on that
starting the race
category.
halfway for know.
Yeah.
But me being a Polish man, I can't really stay in the sun very long, so we'll figure
We
that
had
out
to
too.
we had to change lighting before the show because we were saying Tim looked ghostly.
I had to change
Okay, we
my
were
lighting
like,
color
you
because
look
like,
a little like dead right now.
why do I
Tim.
look so
we gotta
sick?
change the light.
So maybe I'll go to the gym. But the issue is it's the worst time to go to the gym because it's like, yeah, right. Zen on Twitch chat. Anuj is Indian, believe it or not. Like I don't want to go to the gym because then at this point of the year you're just being a statistic, right? Like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm just one of those guys. And if there's one thing I hate more than working out, it's being a statistic. So people think I don't want to commit suicide because I'm not depressed. That's a lie. I am clinically depressed. Every day I wish upon death. But if I kill myself, then I'm a statistic. So can't do that. So I'll just go on life. Just wishing just maybe today will be the day.
Maybe
No.
today.
My commitment though after watching Casting Couch is I need to get in shape. So let's make that the TCR commitment, everyone.
I like that.
Put
I
down
like that.
those
I'm gonna do that
pops.
with you.
People know what pops are? When I say pop, do you know what that is? Coca-Cola.
I do.
I'm from Michigan.
Pop, soda,
Sorry.
Coke, all the same thing.
There are times, so where we live in Dallas. There are times where at a restaurant, I'm like, "What kind of pop do you have?" And they look at me like I just spoke a different language. I'm like,
Excuse me, sir. Did you curse at us?
"Yeah." They're like, "What? What is pop?" Like, oh God. In Overwatch news, Kusta announced retirement, and he will also be joining the desk though with Jake. So yet again, a fan favorite. Which, let's be real, he's already worked the desk when they were eliminated from playoffs. He worked the desk at World Cup. We ran into him. Friend of the show. He told us he listens all the time. So that was very flattering. I think that's what he said. A little hazy.
Most of the time, like he said, like 75% of the episodes, I think, is what I got from
Yeah.
him. But yeah, I mean, Tim, you're right. Another fan favorite leaving. I mean, Jake Acosta. Like, I mean, this is really for me becoming worrisome in terms of at least name recognition. So now, I mean, we're starting to see some of the bigger names step away. There's the saving grace here is that they're both still involved with Overwatch League. So this is not their departure from the scene, but it does make me question, well,
The
if they're
longevity
coming
of
on
it?
as analysts who are now leaving. Like, what other big names do we have leaving from the production side?
Yeah, and
it might not just be the player side that we see in Exodus coming in here.
Puckett has tweeted out twice now saying he's like pictures of the crew saying, man, I'm going to miss these guys. And people of course are looking into that saying, does that mean Puckett is leaving or someone in that picture is leaving? I think Puckett's leaving. I think Puckett is going to CDL.
I think that'd be a smart move, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, and it's all within
That's his
Activision,
background,
right?
Yeah.
It'd be easy employer transition, but exactly, he is Call of Duty. Like, well, he was Halo. I always view Puckett as Halo first, but he is that
Call
crowd.
of Duty is not a far second.
No,
you can see
right,
it.
like for sure. So I think Puckett would be leaving.
Semler.
Semler, I think
seems
it's been
like he's
rumored
back
that he
in
might
CS,
go back to
as far as,
CS.
Reading his tweets, it looks like he's full time back in
Mr. X
CS.
might be going back to Call of Duty because again, that's where he, at least that's where I know him. He might have started someplace else, but he definitely had his bread and butter in Call of Duty. And now with the league and everything, they might be going back. So interesting. That the Overwatch starts up, man. We've been so focused on Call of Duty. Overwatch League starts up in like a month and a half.
They just need to find players.
Yeah. So
Has anyone remaining in the league right now? Do we have full rosters?
for
all
Overwatch,
these
no, they're actually
retirements?
doing open tryouts. So at this point, again, it is cool seeing these guys stick around, but at the same time, I'm a little concerned that every year it seems like fan favorites constantly retire.
Yeah.
Not something that they probably love to see. League of Legends, we had the Game Awards this week. I don't care about them, for the record. But League of Legends won Esports Game of the Year. All right.
Sure.
Why not? Don't know what gets you there, but okay. And Booga ended up winning Esports Player of the Year.
I'm okay with that, actually. I know there's been a lot of like mixed feelings about him getting that, just because Fortnite is not, I don't know if we could say true esport. Like they don't have a league, right? So it's just, but they have tournaments and things of
Yeah.
that sort. He was the face of esports this year. Whether you like him or you don't, or you like Fortnite or you don't, that tournament in particular had the most hype around it over any other event of 2019.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so big and a lot at stake at his age, and you know, it seems like a good person, just seeing him on some of the late night shows and all that he's done. So I think that's, you know, that's a great award. It's a good honor for him, and he doesn't make anybody look bad by winning that.
No, and I agree. Like I said, I know even some of our listeners are saying, you know, it doesn't make sense, and some people say simple. My argument to that is what? Like,
No, like Simple was.
what has Simple done this year?
I think Simple was almost like he was better the year before. I think Zywoo is a candidate for being somebody that had a better year than Simple.
Anyone on
team.
Astralis? The issue with that is everyone could be
Astralis. It's like almost everybody is the problem,
right.
So,
You can't pick one person on that roster.
which is not a bad problem to have. I'm sure
Clayster.
they're okay with
I think you could maybe pick Clayster.
a Stimp, right?
Yeah,
Like,
Simp would be a good one. Trying to
but
think from other games.
you know, again, I'm fine with Booga winning it. I know it was just one event,
Sinatra.
but
Sinatra would have been a good one.
yeah, because he also had the World Cup,
Right.
you know, win as well. But I'm not going to sit here and complain about it. I'm okay with him winning it. I think if a Fortnite player won it again this year, might have more of an issue with it. But for the first one, why not?
Yep. And in other news, we're still on the topic of Fortnite.
We are.
Fortnite, they
So-
started their Star Wars event.
This is actually pretty cool. Like I know, we don't talk about Fortnite a lot, and but we do talk about game updates. And this one was, to me, a pretty freaking cool update because I'm a Star Wars head, Tim. I know you are too, and
I dabble in it.
yeah, we enjoy our Star Wars for sure. And so the Fortnite event started. One of my buddies hit me up today and said, "Hey, let's try some Fortnite." First of all, it's been so long. It was a 20 gig update just to get back into the game. I had a lot of fun.
Don't
playing.
do
Now, I'm
this.
not going to say I'm going back to
Don't do
Fortnite
this
full
to
time.
yourself.
It's skill-based matchmaking. So I'm pretty sure I played against a couple of bots.
Skill in Fortnite. That's funny.
Yeah, but yeah, I
funny.
mean, like they have like X-wings flying over, and it's pretty cool. Like Fortnite to me does an amazing job with that stuff. Whether they did it with Avengers
Right.
and the way that they added it on there,
Yeah.
the marshmallow event that they did. Look, they do it better than anybody else,
They do.
incorporating entertainment and mass culture type stuff.
If only the
into their
game
game.
wasn't trash.
But it's good enough for
If
the millions
only
that
it
are
didn't
playing it, right?
suck.
Like I get it. It's a hard game for you and me to enjoy it like a really high
There's
level.
never
'cause of
been
the
a
building,
more massive group of people that have been wrong.
But I do want to show you this.
Maybe the Nazis.
Because I knew there may be some hesitation in believing me. I don't know if you can see that number 1 there. I don't
No,
know
did
where-
you win?
We got a W today.
You got a victory, man.
We
You know, that
got
is
a
funny because
victory.
we don't play Fortnite but maybe once a year. But when we do, we'll get one in there. We'll sneak one in.
We played like 10 games. I felt good about it. We got a couple of top 5s. I was like, wow.
Because
Oh,
it's
this-
skill-based, I might be able to go play then. The last time I
Yeah.
played, it still wasn't skill-based. And
No,
I'd be...
yeah, it's skill-based matchmaking. And like I said, I could tell. I could clearly tell when the guy I'm fighting against, me and him both make a ramp. And that's where the fight starts and finishes. You know, no one's going up 20
The last
stories
time I
on.
played Fortnite, it was still impressive if you knew how to build a ramp. Like, oh, this guy can build... He's going up. Well.
He's using his materials for other than a wall.
well,
we got
well,
some.
well.
But again, cool event, and I think, you know, just Fortnite happens to do a really good job with that.
Yeah, Star Wars almost makes me want to download it, but knowing that you already played it, you've already tapped out of Fortnite.
I don't think we tapped out. Kamara and I said we're gonna give it another go. We had a good time with
do I
it.
get skins? Do I get free skins?
You get a free TIE fighter if you log into the game right now as your glider. So and then it makes
If we
the
play,
noise.
can we stream it on our?
We can.
Can we stream it
We
for the
can.
show? If you convince me that it's for the show, I'll download it and I'll play it.
Tim, it's always for the show.
And the listeners can at
Everything-
least watch us and hear me baby rage while playing that godforsaken stupid ass
Look,
game.
Tim, we're gonna be in the lowest group. They're gonna think we're gods when we win a lot of games.
It's true. That is true. Normally when I win Fortnite, it's because I don't build. It throws people off. They're all looking up at forts and everything, and I'm sitting on the ground just chopping away at theirs. Like,
No, yeah. In all honesty, I enjoyed it. It had been so long that I enjoyed it.
You forgot how bad it was.
I did. Give it time. I'll remember
Give it
again.
time,
But for
you'll
now,
remember that it
today,
sucks.
today was a good day.
Speaking of, man, I went back and I'm playing some Overwatch because the Christmas event's going on. That game sucks. That game sucks. I don't know if it's because this stupid league that I played in the last couple
Ruined
of
it
months
for you?
ruined it. I don't know, but it just sucks. It sucks. I tried playing.
I don't have it installed anymore, to be honest with you.
I don't
not
know.
on my
Maybe it's because
computer.
I've been playing too much Halo and Counter-Strike again, but I go into that game and I'm like, you can't do anything. You can't do anything the way they have it balanced, but
I hit a 2019 rewind today with Fortnite and Destiny.
yeah, that is going back.
It's the life we live.
All
in
right,
Halo.
so I will
Shoot.
download Fortnite. We will stream it for the show, so keep an eye on that. You can watch it. It will be entertaining nonetheless. I don't know if you'll see real skillful gameplay, but you'll definitely hear me rage. That's for sure. That's guaranteed if you're playing a game with me. I rage and I talk shit. That's a given. Just like this was the best episode ever, and this episode is done. Episode 199. That means Thursday is the big 200. Do we have something special planned? Nope. Could that change between now and then? Probably not. But it's still going to be the best episode ever. I can promise you that. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. Our website, tcr.gg's, got all of our other socials and YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We appreciate it. Leave a like and review on iTunes, anywhere else that you can. Appreciate it. Join our Discord. Be a part of the conversation. We are reviewing Jeff Goldblum's show about gaming next week. Maybe some TCR awards. It is the season for award shows, so maybe we'll do our own. But for Anuj, I'm Tim. We'll see ya. Beautiful.
Thank you for
Alright.
the follow, a Flying Prius. Appreciate that.
Oh, Flying Prius. Thank you for the follow. I didn't even notice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, Tavik. I don't know what it's so weird. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, I love Overwatch. It was like my game of choice for 3 years. And then I get on it this week and I'm like, this game fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Ooh, that is a good one. Joseph said on YouTube, yikes of the year. You know what? Our last episode that we're doing for 2019 will be the 23rd, just because we're both going to have family in town and it'll just be too difficult. That we'll have to do yikes of the year.
I like that.
Put that on our list. We made a list.
Jot that down. Let me see here.
Joseph, that's all you. The credit goes to you, sir. Did you see I sent you an invite to that list, by the way?
Yeah, I'm on it right now.
Yikes of the year.
Oh, are you putting it in the list right now?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
wah, wah.
Oh,
Oh,
I
what?
backed out. I
Alright.
stopped. I moved.
Yikes of the year. Done. I like it. I like that one a lot.
What's
Yeah.
up, Kai? Kai, we gave you a couple
Shout outs,
of
man.
mentions today, my friend. We had a lot of space station talk today. Thought of you.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I got on Overwatch, and it's like, even with the latest patch, it's like, just no one knows what they're doing. No one really knows what the current meta is without the pros playing.
Tim, just move on.
I don't think Blizzard knows what they want to do
Just-
with the game anymore.
Just do it.
I think
telling you, you'll feel better.
I probably should. I think it's too far gone. Like, they've added too many shield heroes at this point. It doesn't matter what they change the meta to at this point.
It's not going to feel great.
It's not going to, like, Sigma has a shield. He's got a bullet absorption ability. I don't know. It's too much.
It's unfortunate. It's just not in a great spot right now.
No, I'll watch Overwatch League. Like, I'll still enjoy watching it at a pro level. But from a playing standpoint,
Look what my cat did to me. Perfect, right?
oh, cutting
Exactly
your
what I
wrist.
needed. Across and the highway. It tried both ways. Didn't get me. Still alive. Off.
Yeah, like, I don't know what it is. I really am despise. But it's all this. This is what I hate with games nowadays, right? Is like everything has to be a chore doing it. Like, everything has seasons. Everything, you got to get 9 wins in Overwatch. I swear to God, I've played like 40 matches this weekend in Overwatch, and I don't even have 9 wins yet. It's a fucking joke.
Oh god. Sounds pretty miserable. I don't miss very few games that I just don't go back to. Usually I give them another chance. Overwatch really wasn't one of those.
Well, it's so weird. Like, I play Halo and I play Call of Duty. I'll play Counter-Strike, and afterwards, it's like, even while playing it, like, I might have like a fit, but I'm not like raging, right? Like, you know me. Like, it sounds like I'm raging, but I'm really not. It's just, that's my reaction to dying.
Normal Tim.
Right. With Overwatch, I'm legit raging. Like, I am legit cursing at the game and anyone in it.
It's just
No, I don't either. I just assume what Anuj is saying right now. He's under his desk doing something.
Sorry, I'm getting a light real quick. It was annoying me all show. And I have to fix it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this whole, like, how now they do like the 9 wins during season. So like, it makes you feel like you have to go play Overwatch, but at the same time you have Halo that has a season going on. You got Call of Duty that's got a season. Fortnite constantly has a season going. Destiny has a season going, and you can't play any of them casually and get to the top of it. You
This
have
whole fucking season pass thing, dude. Destiny, I'm just gonna throw this out there. This to me is cheap shit, and if anyone from fucking Destiny hears this, just know how shitty you are to your consumer, okay? I spent $35 to get the new expansion,
right.
right? $35. It's Shadowkeep. It says it comes with all the bells and whistles. So I buy the fucking expansion, man. I've already given this game 60 on the initial purchase, 30 for the next 2 expansions.
You know, I got the collector's edition, so I even gave him more. I gave it like
Okay.
$80.
So I've given them all of this money. I've given them well over $130, $140 so far for this fucking good to average game at best, right? It's not like some amazing once in a lifetime game. Then these motherfuckers have the audacity to charge you an additional $10 for a battle pass in a game where you're charging me $35 per expansion on top of the base price for the game. Oh, and then they obviously have other shit that you can buy
Like, just cosmetics
with your
that you
own
can
real
buy.
money as well. And I was like, and this battle pass, like, it doesn't give you like weapons and shit that are going to make your life that much better. Actually, I take that back. I lied. It actually gave me a scout rifle that I ended up using in PvP today for a while. That was pretty badass. It has a
I mean, it gives you good upgrades too. Like,
like
I've,
it does. So the battle pass like gives you all these like upgrade modules and all this other stuff that are just like very time consuming to go get if you don't have the
Yeah.
battle pass. And they give it to you as you level, just like the Fortnite. There's a free battle pass, and then you get additional rewards if you have the paid battle
Yeah.
pass. And so it's just like fuck, man. And like,
Okay,
look,
my issue with
I
the
play
battle
these games-
passes in general, they were neat at the start because you're like, oh, this is cool. If I play this game, I can get rewarded for doing it. But now it's like Tavik said, like, I have, like, if you said, what's your main game, right? Right now, I don't know if I have one. If I had to pick, I'd probably say Halo, because That's the game where if no one's on, I'll still go and solo queue by myself, right? I won't solo queue Counter-Strike. Like Kai said, for Overwatch, another one of the fucking shitty things with Overwatch, you can also see when we're not recording, we get very vulgar. It's like that recording button stops and all of a sudden turns
Here
into
we
a
are.
rated R show. No, so fuck Overwatch, because not only is it a shit game while you're playing it, you know, God forbid I want to fucking play a DPS player. Well, DPS is a 10-minute plus queue. So I'm sitting there for 10, 12 minutes, and they're like, oh, but don't worry, we added it now to where while you're waiting, you can play deathmatch or some shit. I don't fuck. My point isn't being bored. My issue is not being bored in queue. I'll alt-tab and jerk it for 5, right? And then I'll come back and wait around for 5. That's okay. My issue is like, I have a kid that's fucking sleeping. I got an hour to play. I cannot spend 40 minutes waiting in a queue for 4 matches. Like, the queue times take as long as the match.
Yeah, that like a 10-minute queue is a long queue, but the higher your skill group, you kind of understand if they're trying to
I'm
like.
not even that high, though. I'm.
No, I'm just saying in general, but yeah, a 10-minute queue is a long time. Like,
I mean,
can I say
God
one more
forbid
thing
if I
about the
was
battle
higher.
pass thing? Can I say one more thing?
Like,
about the
you have
battle
pros
pass thing?
waiting, like, no joke, 30
I
minutes.
just got more annoyed thinking of this. I'm okay with the battle pass in Fortnite because the game's free. Okay, you're charging me $10 to get additional cosmetics. It gives me nothing of a competitive advantage in Fortnite. And again, the base game is free. So if you're asking me for $10 every like 3 months, I can live with that. Like, I'm okay with that purchase, even if I play the game for 5 years and I know it's more than $60 for a base game. Y'all are continuing to put cosmetics into the game, which in my mind, nobody does cosmetics better than Fortnite. It's really
Right.
like it's not even close,
No,
honestly.
they are really good.
But Destiny is charging me base game, expansion, oh, and a battle pass. So Destiny, fuck you. I'm still gonna play you because I'm semi interested in the story and I've played it this long. But fuck
He
you.
knows. He knows I'm in a high skill group. He knows I'm in a high skill group. No joke. I used to be in a high skill group, and then I stopped giving a fuck about it in Overwatch.
Like a high skill group compared to me in Overwatch, I don't even know. I'd be like bronze -3, copper, iron, or shit or something.
I think
So
the worst too is like with Call of Duty, right? So you add a battle pass on the same day you add a store with other cosmetic shit to buy on a game that is already, let's be real, overpriced.
yeah, Call of Duty. You know, some of these developers
At launch, Call of Duty is ridiculously overpriced. Then they will gradually release more shit for it that you're like, okay, this is now worth it. But at the start of it, Call of Duty is not good.
maybe I should just play Fortnite exclusively just because of their battle pass system. Hey, free game, I'll give you $10. Charge me
Right.
$60. Go to hell if you're gonna charge me another penny to buy shit in your game.
Yeah, and you know, I don't like. I feel like the Destiny Battle Pass wasn't bad as far as like what it was, but you're right. When you,
But why am I paying for an expansion and a game and a battle pass?
yeah,
I don't understand that. You're charging me like $200 to play your game over the span of 1 year.
no, yeah,
For
I,
Destiny. It's such a lovely average game. You know, like it's a fun shooter. It's probably one of the best feeling shooters I think out there in terms of just how smooth it is. But like the core mechanics of Destiny have always been a major problem. And rather than addressing them and trying and building your player base that way, I know you go back to Steam, so now your numbers are inflated, but God, it was frustrating. I did not know that. I didn't know I was going to spend an extra 10. And it's not like I don't have the 10 to spend, Tim. Like, you know, I'm okay spending it if it's the right things. It was just the fact that I bought the game, then I was like, okay, I'll get the expansion. And then I get it and I'm like, wait a minute. Why is all this shit locked? Oh, the expansion didn't cover the cost of the initial battle pass. I have to now give you another $10 to feel like I'm getting everything I want to get.
yeah. No, COD's Battle Pass takes forever. You know, I think
Dude,
it's also
COD's battle pass is taking me so long to level.
like that one. I don't even
Like,
feel bad about not doing because it takes forever. Like, bro, I know I'm not going to get that. I don't know. It's just My issue with the battle pass is at first it felt like, oh, the devs are rewarding me for playing your game, and now it's no, the devs are kind of acknowledging that their game isn't that fun, so you need a gimmick to get me to stick around playing your game, and now you're adding chores for me to play your game. That's the way it's coming across now, though. Like at the start, it was like, oh, this is cool. Now it's, this is a beat down. Like, all right, let's go play. Like that's honestly one of the things that killed Fortnite for me, right? Is because I'd get in and want to play, and then like you guys were like, we got to collect gnomes. We gotta go find gnomes. And I'm like, fuck this battle pass. I just want to play.
Talk to chat for 2 seconds. I need to pee.
All right.
Bad.
Yeah, so that's it killed me. Like that, the battle pass at the beginning of Fortnite just killed me. But I also think it's ridiculous too. Yeah, Tavik. Like when you're releasing a sequel or a game that's part of a genre or a franchise, you should never have less than what was in your predecessor, right? Like a Call of Duty should never release with less maps and then come out with new maps, let alone recycled maps, and try to act like, hey, we're giving you free maps. No, you're fucking not. You gave me 6 to start with, and now you're giving me an HD remake of an old map. This shit should have been in the game. You're not giving me anything for free. That's like McDonald's taking away in their Happy Meal French fries, but then saying, we're giving you French fries for free. No, you took them away, and now you're giving me them. That's what drives me nuts. Fighting games are guilty of this too, though. Fighting games, you'll have one roster. A fighting game will end with 40 fighters on their roster after all the DLC. Next fighting game comes out, they'll have 10. And then all the rosters that were in the old ones are now being released again. After you just spent $90 to $100 to get them all to begin with. Oh yeah, you know all the maps are finished for Call of Duty. No doubt. No doubt those maps are finished for Call of Duty. They're just sitting there. Oh, I gotta download Fortnite. I don't want to download Fortnite, but I am. For the show. For the show, I'll download Fortnite. So, I don't know. That's like, I like fighting games, but for people who play fighting games religiously and stuff, like, you are something else, because you're pretty much openly getting screwed on your wallet. Especially if you buy everything day one of release. Like, it is going to be awful.
Found another remote control just now over there in the corner. That won't fix that light either.
What is it?
I just found another remote control to like change the color, that stupid thing that rotates behind me.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, found another remote. Maybe this is the one. No.
Are you sure the remotes aren't out of battery?
I mean, all 3 of them. One of them has. They all have the same RF sensor.
True. True. We were talking about while you're away, though, like how games will take away shit. I was saying, like, there should never be a time where in a game's thing, like, oh, wait, he's blue. Where, like, in a franchise, a game comes out with less than its predecessor. Like, Call of Duty comes out with less maps, and then they go, hey, you know how much we love you guys? We're going to give you a free map. And you're like, no, you're not. You're giving me shit that was in the last one. This should have been in this one.
You're giving me all the maps. You're not doing me any favor. Like, it's nice, but that should have just been like an extra, not what you're hyping me up about the game.
It never should have been away. It should have always have been there. But that's just what people do. Hey, since some of you guys are here, I'll also put this in the Discord chat. we are for Wednesday's show, Thursday's show that we record on Wednesday. We were going to do a TCR award show for the year. If you can give us some categories and maybe nominees, and even if someone else posts a category and you want to give a nominee to that category, let us know in Discord in general chat, and then that way we can get some ideas. We have a few, and they can be funny. They're not like, I don't really
And
fucking,
that either might be this Wednesday
or
or
next.
maybe we do that Sunday and
Yeah.
make that our end of year show, possibly.
Yeah. Well, Yikes
Like
of the
with the
Year
Yikes of the
awards.
Year, end of year awards, Merry Christmas show.
It sucks that 200 is on Wednesday, because Wednesdays
we
are
skip-
never.
You want to skip Wednesday?
No, not for the sake of it,
No,
though. I don't really
I know.
care.
I know.
Um,
The timing is off by one episode. It's a little unfortunate.
right. Had
'Cause
we
it really
skipped
would've been
one more
perfect.
episode throughout the year, we would have been fine. Like, I want to put one category of, like, I don't even know how to phrase it. The best organization mismanagement, and I would nominate Hex for Optic Gaming and Rick Fox for Echo Fox.
Oh god. Amit Rosada or whatever. Put him
Yeah.
in there.
Yep. Yeah, I guess Yikes of the Year can be an award then. Yeah, that will just be part of the award show.
Yeah.
I don't know. Shit like that. I think it would be fun. But
I
we
do
need some
too.
ideas because we're not that creative. But anyways, I think we're going to head out so that way we can
Yeah.
edit the episode, upload it. I got to start downloading Fortnite to stream that. It will be miserable.
And I gotta go to sleep.
Can't
I
wait.
know YouTube's probably gonna give me another hour wait if I try and wait on them.
Yep. So we'll get that
More
done
frustrating,
tomorrow.
but yeah.
If it doesn't work in 10 minutes or so. So, Tavik, Kai, Prius, everyone else in the chat, Zen, thank you for sticking around. Joseph on YouTube, thank you for the Yikes of the Year suggestion. That was solid. Solid
That
pickup.
was solid.
Everyone else,
I like
Spirit,
that.
Trey, thanks for everyone stopping by. And we'll talk to you guys in the Discord and or on Wednesday.
Love you guys. Appreciate y'all listening.
Later.